Have you ever wondered if being too kind could ruin your life? You might think kindness is always a good thing, especially as we age. But what if I told you that for those between 65 and 80, being too generous, too empathetic, or too selfless can hurt your life? In today's video, we're diving deep into 8 surprising ways that kindness can backfire and lead to unintended consequences. From the emotional toll it takes on your well-being to how it can silently affect your relationships, health, and even your sense of self-worth, we're uncovering it all. You'll be shocked to learn how kindness, which we often think of as a strength, can sometimes keep you stuck in patterns that don't serve your happiness or peace of mind. But don't worry. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to recognize these traps and what to do to protect yourself while still being true to your values. So if you're 65 to 80 years old, or know someone who is, make sure you watch this until the end. You won't want to miss the powerful insights that can completely change the way you approach kindness in your life. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video, you can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. Number 1. Overextending yourself. Kindness, while a virtue, can sometimes become a double-edged sword. When you constantly put others' needs ahead of your own, it can lead to overextending yourself, both physically and emotionally. You may find yourself saying yes to every request or offer of help, even when you're already overwhelmed or stretched too thin. This might feel good in the short term because you're helping others and maintaining a positive image, but in the long run, it can cause you to neglect your well-being. The constant need to please or fulfill every demand can lead to exhaustion, stress, and a sense of depletion. You might end up with a packed schedule, a growing list of tasks, and little time left for rest or personal care. The result? You feel drained, physically exhausted, and mentally overwhelmed. Your boundaries, which are essential for maintaining a healthy balance in life, may become blurred. The more you give without considering your own needs, the more susceptible you become to burnout. Setting boundaries is key to protecting yourself from this kind of exhaustion. It's important to recognize that you don't have to say yes to everything. Learning to say no is not a sign of selfishness, but an act of self-preservation. By establishing healthy limits, you'll be better equipped to manage your time and energy, and you'll avoid the growing resentment that often accompanies overextending yourself. Saying no can feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to being the one who always steps up or helps out. However, it's important to remember that by prioritizing your own needs, you're ensuring that you have the energy and emotional resilience to continue being there for others in the long run. Taking care of yourself is the first step toward being able to truly help others without compromising your health and happiness. Number 2. Being taken advantage of. It's an unfortunate reality that people sometimes take advantage of your kindness and generosity, often without you even realizing it, until the damage has already been done. This typically occurs when others make unreasonable demands, expect you to do things that you don't want to do, or rely on your willingness to help without considering your personal needs, feelings, or boundaries. While helping others can be incredibly rewarding and an important part of healthy relationships, there comes a point where being overly accommodating can lead to being exploited. This often begins with small requests. Someone might ask for a favor or help with something seemingly innocent, and because you are naturally generous, you agree without thinking twice. However, as these small requests grow in frequency or intensity, you may find yourself in situations where you are expected to give more than you are comfortable with, whether it's your time, your resources, or your emotional energy. Over time, you may start to feel overwhelmed, drained, or even resentful. But because you have become accustomed to saying yes, you may not know how to stop. People who take advantage of you in this way often exploit your kindness for their benefit, sometimes consciously and other times unconsciously. They might not even realize that they're pushing you past your limits because they assume you'll always say yes, or because you have never previously expressed discomfort with their demands. This creates a cycle where the more you give, the more they expect, and the less you're able to prioritize your own needs. When this happens, it can affect both your personal and professional relationships. In personal settings, you may feel like a friend or family member sees you as a resource to be used, rather than a person with your desires and boundaries. At work, this can translate into colleagues or supervisors piling extra work on you, expecting you to handle tasks that go beyond your job description, or taking credit for your contributions. While these people might not be acting with malice, the result is the same. Your kindness becomes a tool for their convenience, and you become increasingly burdened as a result. Recognizing that you're being taken advantage of is the first step in protecting yourself. It's important to be aware of the signs. If you feel like you're consistently overextended, sacrificing your well-being for the sake of others, or if you're constantly feeling stressed or unappreciated, it's time to reevaluate how you are allowing others to treat you. The key to preventing this from continuing lies in becoming more assertive about your boundaries. Being assertive doesn't mean being rude or selfish. It means standing up for yourself clearly and respectfully. When you recognize that someone is asking too much of you, it's important to confidently and calmly express your limits. Don't be afraid to say no when a request feels unreasonable or when it interferes with your priorities. Saying no is a powerful tool in protecting your time, energy, and emotional well-being, and it's essential in establishing a healthy balance between giving and receiving in relationships. Setting limits may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to always saying yes or avoiding conflict. However, it's important to remember that your well-being matters just as much as anyone else's. You have the right to put yourself first, to prioritize your own needs, and to ensure that you're not overburdened by the expectations of others. By clearly communicating your boundaries, you are not only protecting yourself, but you are also teaching others how to treat you with the respect and consideration that you deserve. Additionally, it's essential to recognize that setting limits is not a reflection of your worth or your character. It's a sign of maturity and self-respect. Those who truly care about you will respect your boundaries and will not expect you to sacrifice your well-being for their convenience. If someone responds negatively or with guilt tactics when you say no, it may be a sign that they've been taking advantage of you for some time and their reaction is simply an attempt to maintain control. If you are still watching this video and find these stories useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Number 3. Feeling resentful. When you consistently prioritize the needs and desires of others over your own, you may start to experience a sense of resentment that can slowly build up over time. At first, it might feel like a noble or selfless act to take care of others, especially when they are close to you, such as family members, friends, or colleagues. You may think that by putting others first, you're demonstrating kindness, generosity, and compassion. However, if you continue to put everyone else's needs ahead of your own, without ensuring that your well-being is addressed, this behavior can eventually lead to deeper, more negative emotions. Resentment often arises when you begin to feel that your desires, feelings, and needs are consistently overlooked or undervalued. You may start to notice that you are always the one giving, sacrificing your time, energy, and even your peace of mind, while others may not acknowledge or reciprocate in the same way. This can leave you feeling unappreciated, invisible, or even taken for granted. It becomes easy to slip into a mindset where you feel that you are being treated unfairly, and this perception of being undervalued can create a barrier between you and the people you care about. As this sense of resentment festers, it can begin to manifest in several harmful ways. On the surface, you might not immediately recognize these feelings, but they can show up in passive-aggressive comments, avoiding certain people, withdrawing emotionally, or even becoming overly critical. These actions can create distance and strain in your relationships, making it difficult to maintain open, healthy communication. The longer you allow these feelings to go unaddressed, the more likely they are to escalate into tension and conflict. and this can erode the trust and connection you once had with others. Moreover, ongoing resentment can take a toll on your mental and physical health. It can contribute to feelings of stress, anxiety, and burnout, as the emotional burden of unexpressed dissatisfaction can become overwhelming. You may find yourself feeling more irritable or emotionally drained, which can affect your overall mood, energy levels, and even your ability to focus on other important aspects of your life. To avoid falling into this cycle of resentment, it is crucial to recognize the importance of self-care and boundary setting. Prioritizing your own needs and ensuring that they are met is not an act of selfishness. It is essential for your well-being and for maintaining healthy, balanced relationships. Taking care of yourself allows you to be in a better position to help others without feeling emotionally depleted or resentful. By setting clear, respectful boundaries and communicating openly about your needs, you can prevent feelings of resentment from taking root. Learning how to say no when appropriate and ensuring that you are not overcommitting or overextending yourself is a vital part of this process. This can include taking time for activities that bring you joy, practicing mindfulness or relaxation techniques, and nurturing your own physical and emotional health. When you allow yourself the space to recharge and tend to your own needs, you are better equipped to show up for others in a more positive, compassionate, and sustainable way. Number 4. Hindering your personal growth. While kindness is an admirable and essential quality, it can sometimes unintentionally hinder your personal growth and development if not carefully balanced with self-assertiveness and boundary setting. At its core, kindness is about showing empathy, compassion, and consideration for others. But when it becomes a primary focus, it can lead to a tendency to put the needs and emotions of others above your own, often at the expense of your well-being and progress. This pattern of prioritizing others can prevent you from standing up for yourself when it's necessary. Whether it's in relationships, work environments, or even in your daily interactions, kindness can sometimes make it difficult for you to express your true feelings, assert your needs, or advocate for yourself in challenging situations. For example, you might find yourself saying yes to things you want to decline, or remaining silent when someone disrespects your boundaries, simply because you don't want to hurt their feelings or create conflict. In the long term, this can leave you feeling emotionally drained, overlooked, or unappreciated, and can even lead to resentment towards others or yourself for not standing up for your values. Moreover, kindness that leans into self-sacrifice may cause you to avoid making difficult decisions that are necessary for your growth. Many moments of personal evolution require you to step outside of your comfort zone, confront uncomfortable truths, or make choices that may not be popular with those around you. These situations might involve making tough decisions that could potentially hurt someone's feelings or disrupt the status quo. But if you are too focused on being kind, you may find yourself avoiding these decisions, which can ultimately prevent you from pursuing your true passions, achieving your goals, or developing the resilience and independence that are essential for growth. Furthermore, kindness can sometimes create an environment where you feel obligated to constantly meet the expectations of others, which can lead to overcommitting yourself or compromising your values in the process. This compromises your ability to focus on what matters to you, whether it's personal ambitions, career aspirations, or even maintaining your mental and emotional well-being. The fear of upsetting others or creating friction can hold you back from seizing opportunities that align with your long-term goals. It's important to recognize that personal growth is deeply intertwined with the ability to make assertive decisions, even if those decisions are difficult or uncomfortable. Growth often happens when you challenge yourself, step into discomfort, and make choices that are aligned with your authentic self, even if they go against the expectations of others. Being assertive means standing firm in your beliefs and recognizing that it's okay to make decisions that might not always be easy, but are ultimately beneficial for your long-term well-being. It's about knowing your limits, expressing your desires, and being confident in your right to prioritize your happiness, regardless of how it may impact others. Balancing kindness with assertiveness is key. It's about learning when to say no to others and yes to yourself. It's about honoring your needs, goals, and values without feeling guilty for doing so. Kindness should never be abandoned, but it must be practiced in a way that allows you to be true to yourself, set healthy boundaries, and make decisions that align with the life you want to create for yourself. If you are still watching this video and find these stories useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Number 5, attracting toxic people. Your kindness, compassion, and willingness to help others can be some of your greatest strengths. However, these qualities can also unintentionally draw in toxic people who thrive on manipulation and control. While you may genuinely want to offer support, some individuals will exploit this generosity for their gain. These toxic individuals often lack empathy and are skilled at disguising their harmful intentions, which makes them particularly dangerous because they can quickly blend into your life, masking their true nature. Toxic people often enter your life under the guise of being a friend, confidant, or partner. But over time, their true colors start to show. They might begin to take advantage of your kindness, expecting more from you than is reasonable or fair, while offering little in return. Their needs, demands, and expectations can quickly become draining, leaving you feeling exhausted, unappreciated, and emotionally depleted. These individuals may manipulate you with guilt trips, make passive-aggressive comments, or play mind games to keep you off balance, causing you to question your worth and judgment. One of the most insidious behaviors toxic people exhibit is their ability to emotionally and mentally drain you. They often thrive in environments where they can destabilize others, forcing you to focus on their drama or chaos instead of your happiness or well-being. In their presence, you may find yourself constantly walking on eggshells, trying to avoid confrontation, or feeling overly responsible for their mood swings and issues. This dynamic can lead to feelings of helplessness, anxiety, and confusion, as toxic people frequently distort reality to fit their narrative and undermine your confidence. It's also important to recognize that toxic individuals often refuse to take accountability for their actions. When confronted with their harmful behavior, they may turn things around, placing the blame on you or others, making you feel like you're the one who is in the wrong. They rarely show remorse or make efforts to change, and instead will continuously repeat the same patterns of emotional abuse, control, and exploitation. One of the most dangerous aspects of toxic relationships is that they can be insidious, creeping into your life gradually. You may find yourself making excuses for their behavior, justifying their hurtful actions, or believing that they will change. However, this cycle of denial and hope can keep you stuck in an unhealthy situation, giving you more power over your emotions and well-being. Being able to identify the signs of toxic relationships is essential. Red flags can include consistent disrespect, manipulation tactics such as guilt tripping or gaslighting, patterns of emotional instability, a lack of accountability, and behaviors that consistently make you feel bad about yourself. When someone is more interested in their own needs than in the mutual respect and understanding that should define a healthy relationship, it's a clear indication that they are toxic. Setting firm boundaries is crucial to protect yourself from these types of individuals. This may mean limiting your interactions, declining invitations, or having difficult conversations about how their behavior affects you. Toxic people often try to guilt trip or pressure you into bending your boundaries, but it's important to remember that protecting your emotional and mental health should be your top priority. You don't owe anyone your time, energy, or kindness if they are only going to use it to bring you harm. In many cases, it may even be necessary to sever ties completely with toxic individuals. Ending a relationship with someone who is emotionally damaging may be difficult, especially if you feel a sense of loyalty or guilt toward them. But the longer you allow a toxic person to remain in your life, the more damage they can do. It may take time, but once you create distance, you'll likely find that your mental and emotional well-being improves significantly. It's also important to remember that not all relationships are meant to be permanent, and it's okay to let go of people who no longer serve your growth or happiness. Being kind to yourself means recognizing that you deserve relationships built on mutual respect, trust, and understanding. You have the right to choose who stays in your life, and it's essential to prioritize people who lift you rather than drag you down. Your kindness is a gift, but it should never be used against you. Be aware of who you allow into your life, and don't be afraid to set strong boundaries with those who consistently bring negativity, manipulation, or toxicity into your world. You are worthy of peace, joy, and healthy relationships. If you are still watching this video and find these stories useful, please comment number 3 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Number 6. Neglecting your own needs. It's incredibly easy to fall into the trap of putting others first, especially when you are driven by a deep sense of responsibility to help, support, or care for those around you. Whether it's family, friends, colleagues, or even strangers, the instinct to prioritize their needs over your own is natural, especially when you want to be there for others in their time of need. But while these feelings of altruism are admirable, they can quickly morph into a harmful pattern of self-neglect, where your own emotional, mental, and physical well-being is pushed to the back burner. When this happens, you're setting yourself up for a gradual, yet often inevitable breakdown of your health and happiness. The danger of constantly prioritizing others is that over time, it leads to a slow but steady drain on your energy and spirit. The more you give without replenishing yourself, the more depleting it becomes. You may not realize it at first, but this self-sacrifice can take a toll, often manifesting as feelings of exhaustion, irritability, and an overwhelming sense of emptiness. This emotional burnout can creep up on you, causing stress and anxiety to build up quietly in the background, until one day you feel mentally and physically drained, unable to cope with the simplest of tasks or interactions. The emptiness that comes from neglecting your own needs is not just a fleeting feeling. It's a sign that your body and mind are trying to tell you that something is wrong. You might find yourself withdrawing from activities you used to enjoy, feeling apathetic toward hobbies or interests that once brought you joy. It can even become difficult to recognize when you need a break because you've become so wrapped up in meeting the demands of those around you. In this cycle, your well-being gets pushed aside, and the constant stress can start to affect other areas of your life, whether it's your career, relationships, or even your sense of self-worth. You may find that you feel more disconnected from yourself, like you're simply going through the motions rather than truly engaging with life. As this cycle of neglect continues, it doesn't just impact you internally, it can also affect the way you connect with others. If you are constantly pouring from an empty cup, you may struggle to be present for the people you care about. The frustration and exhaustion that come from neglecting your own needs can lead to emotional distance and strain in relationships. After all, you can't fully give love, attention, and support to others if you're running on empty. When your own needs aren't met, it becomes harder to offer those around you the best version of yourself. Instead, you might find yourself feeling resentful, overwhelmed, or disconnected, even when you are surrounded by people who care about you. The first step toward breaking this destructive cycle is to recognize the importance of self-care and understand that taking time for yourself is not a selfish act. It's essential to maintaining your mental, emotional, and physical health. By carving out moments to nurture your well-being, you are ensuring that you can continue to be there for others in a more balanced, sustainable way. Self-care can take many forms. It doesn't have to be grand or time-consuming. It could be as simple as taking a walk to clear your head, dedicating time to a hobby that brings you joy, or practicing mindfulness to help manage stress. The key is to make these moments a priority, rather than a last-minute thought. Setting healthy boundaries is also crucial. Learn to say no when your plate is already full, and don't feel guilty about it. It's important to acknowledge that you have limits, and that taking care of yourself is a non-negotiable part of life. This doesn't mean you stop caring for others. It simply means you're prioritizing your health so that you can continue to give in a meaningful way without sacrificing yourself in the process. By intentionally making time for self-care and being mindful of your own needs, you begin to replenish your inner reserves. As you do this, you'll notice a shift in your energy and mindset. You'll feel more present, more grounded, and more capable of tackling life's challenges with a renewed sense of purpose and clarity. You'll also find that your relationships become more balanced and fulfilling, as you'll be able to show up as a healthier, more complete version of yourself. Number 7. Contributing to a lack of assertiveness. Kindness is often celebrated as one of the most admirable and desirable traits a person can possess. It reflects a genuine concern for others, a willingness to put the needs of others before one's own, and a desire to maintain harmony in relationships. However, while kindness is a virtue, it can sometimes lead to unintended consequences, one of which is a lack of assertiveness. People who are consistently kind and selfless may find it difficult to assert themselves in situations that require them to stand up for their own needs, preferences, or opinions. This lack of assertiveness can manifest in various ways. For example, you might find yourself avoiding confrontation or difficult conversations because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings or disrupt the peace. You might struggle to say no when asked for favors or when someone makes unreasonable demands, even if it inconveniences you. You might agree to things you don't want to do simply to avoid conflict or because you feel guilty about disappointing someone. Over time, this pattern can lead to feelings of frustration, resentment, or even burnout. The fear of upsetting others or damaging relationships can also prevent you from expressing your true thoughts and opinions. You may be afraid to disagree with others, even when you strongly believe they are wrong, because you don't want to appear confrontational or cause tension. As a result, you may suppress your voice in favor of maintaining harmony, leading to an erosion of your sense of self-worth and self-identity. This can be particularly damaging in professional settings or personal relationships, where open communication and mutual respect are essential for healthy, functioning interactions. While kindness is an essential part of any relationship, it's important to recognize that being overly accommodating can sometimes cause more harm than good. When you continually prioritize the needs of others at the expense of your own, you risk neglecting your well-being, goals, and personal growth. This may lead to feelings of helplessness, as if you are being carried along by the needs and desires of those around you without having a clear sense of direction or purpose in your own life. To address this, it's crucial to develop assertiveness skills. Assertiveness is not about being aggressive, domineering, or rude. Rather, it is the ability to express your thoughts, feelings, and needs openly and honestly, while still being respectful of others. It means standing up for yourself in a way that allows you to maintain healthy boundaries without feeling guilty or selfish. Being assertive means recognizing that your voice matters, that your opinions are valid, and that it's okay to advocate for yourself in any situation. Building assertiveness starts with self-awareness. It's important to recognize situations where you might be holding back or avoiding conflict out of fear. Take note of times when you feel resentful, unheard, or taken advantage of. These are often signs that you need to be more assertive in advocating for yourself. Start small by practicing saying no in situations where you would typically overextend yourself, and gradually work up to voicing your opinions or addressing more challenging conversations. Additionally, it's helpful to reframe the way you view assertiveness. Instead of seeing it as a confrontation, view it as a form of self-respect. When you express yourself clearly and confidently, you are modeling healthy communication and reinforcing your right to be heard. Assertiveness is an essential skill that will help you build stronger, more authentic relationships, whether in personal or professional contexts. It fosters mutual respect, enables you to express your true self, and helps you create a balanced life where your needs are valued just as much as those of others. If you are still watching this video and find these stories useful, please comment number 4 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Number 8. Preventing you from standing up for yourself. Kindness is a truly beautiful and valuable trait. It fosters connection, promotes understanding, and cultivates a sense of community. It can also make people feel appreciated, valued, and cared for. However, there is an often overlooked aspect of kindness that can be detrimental to your well-being. It can sometimes prevent you from standing up for yourself, especially in difficult or emotionally charged situations. This is where kindness, while well-intentioned, can become a hindrance. When you're overly focused on being kind to others, you might start to prioritize their feelings, comfort, and needs over your own. You may find yourself avoiding confrontation, afraid of hurting someone's feelings, or making things uncomfortable for them. This fear of offending others or creating conflict can create an internal battle between your own needs and the needs of others. You might tell yourself, "I don't want to make a fuss," or "it's not that big of a deal," when, in reality, it is something that affects you deeply. In these situations, the fear of rocking the boat or disrupting the peace can lead you to suppress your true feelings and not speak up when it's necessary. You might choose to remain silent or go along with something that doesn't sit well with you, all in the name of being kind. Over time, this pattern of self-neglect can lead to a buildup of unexpressed frustration, anger, and resentment. You may feel like your voice is being drowned out, or that you're not being seen or heard for who you truly are. This lack of assertiveness may also lead to feelings of powerlessness, as though you're at the mercy of other people's desires and expectations. But here's the crucial point. Standing up for yourself, asserting your boundaries, and expressing your needs are not incompatible with kindness. Assertiveness is an important aspect of maintaining a balanced and healthy relationship with others. When you do not stand up for yourself, you may inadvertently allow others to overstep your boundaries, take advantage of your kindness, or treat you in unfair ways. This can result in a slow erosion of your self-esteem and sense of self-worth. The longer this goes unchecked, the more likely you are to feel taken for granted, unseen and unappreciated, not only by others but also by yourself. It's important to note that kindness is not about constantly putting others before you. Excessive kindness can sometimes be a form of self-sabotage. You might be trying to avoid conflict or rejection, but in doing so, you sacrifice your right to speak your truth, protect your emotional well-being, and live in alignment with your values. Kindness should not come at the cost of your self-respect. By continuously suppressing your needs and desires, you risk feeling unfulfilled and disconnected from your own identity. Setting boundaries, then, becomes a vital practice in ensuring that you remain true to yourself while still maintaining positive and healthy relationships. Boundaries are not walls or barriers meant to shut people out. Instead, they are clear guidelines for how you want to be treated and how you interact with others in a respectful, mutually beneficial way. They are a form of self-respect and an expression of your personal needs and limits. Practicing boundaries may initially feel difficult, especially if you've been conditioned to always be accommodating or agreeable. However, by setting those boundaries, you will find that your relationships can be deeper, more authentic, and more fulfilling because they are based on mutual understanding and respect. Moreover, it's important to understand that standing up for yourself doesn't mean being rude, selfish, or disrespectful toward others. It means recognizing that you have a right to be heard, to express your feelings, and to protect your well-being, just as others have the same right. It's about being honest and direct without being aggressive or hurtful. It's about balancing your empathy for others with a healthy sense of self-worth. When you practice self-assertiveness, you not only protect yourself from being taken advantage of, but also encourage others to respect your boundaries. This helps create a more balanced dynamic in your relationships, where your needs are valued and considered, and where your kindness can flow freely without fear of exploitation. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, and by asserting yourself, you contribute to creating relationships that are based on equality, trust, and understanding. In the end, kindness should start with you. While it's essential to be kind to others, it's equally important to be kind to yourself. Self-kindness means acknowledging when you're uncomfortable, recognizing when you're being mistreated, and taking action to preserve your emotional and mental well-being. It's about being compassionate toward yourself and understanding that standing up for your needs is a form of self-care. It's also about learning to let go of guilt and fear of disapproval, knowing that you deserve respect, love, and consideration, just like anyone else. In the long run, practicing kindness toward yourself by standing up for your rights, expressing your needs, and setting healthy boundaries will lead to more fulfilling, authentic, and compassionate relationships, both with others and with yourself. So, remember, being kind to others does not mean being unkind to yourself. It's about striking a balance between empathy for others and self-respect, ensuring that your kindness is not misused and that you are never put in a position where your voice is silenced or ignored. Thank you for spending this time with us today. We hope you found our discussion enlightening and filled with encouragement. Each topic we've explored holds a unique perspective on life, kindness, and personal growth, and we believe that understanding these concepts can truly enhance our journey. As we wrap up, we want you to take a moment to reflect. What have you learned from today's video? Consider how these insights can impact your life and the lives of those around you. We encourage you to share with us in the comments below one specific lesson you've gained and how you plan to put it into practice moving forward. Your thoughts and experiences not only enrich our community, but also inspire others to embark on their paths of growth and kindness. If you enjoyed this video, please take a moment to leave your comment. Your feedback is invaluable to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss an update. We have so much more uplifting content planned, and we want you to be a part of it. And for our viewers aged 65 to 80, make sure to check out our thought-provoking video titled 8 Ways Kindness Will Ruin Your Life. It's a conversation you won't want to miss. Thank you once again for joining us. Together, let's continue to foster kindness, understanding, and personal growth in our lives and our community. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.